guys, it's Anthony and Jay back again with Monkey Business Productions, and we're going to be talking about a review for Hard Eyes. We just got watching it. What do you think about it?
Honestly, just to start things off, we got to go to a early press screening thanks to Anthony's college, Fullerton. So shout out to them. Thank you also for giving us the chance to RSVP and be a part of this experience. And just the opening experience alone, getting to get there and see like the poster on the big screen and immediately jump into the film was actually a pretty good, like, already had me like excited. So I was hoping the movie would also meet the expectations. And overall, from what I can say is, I had a blast. I'm a Slash fan. I got my Ghostface thing on. I love slashers. My hat is Ghostface as well. So slashers are kind of like my bread and butter, so I'm always down for them. As long as they do something new, inventive, and they're just fun, which this one checks all those boxes. It's fun, it's inventive, and again, overall, a really good time, especially on how well it blends the two genres of rom-com and a slasher. It does it actually very well and almost seamless to where I buy into the whole rom-com moments and then I buy into the slasher moments, and it doesn't feel too jarring. Like, they actually smoothly transition to each other each time.
Yeah, I'd say this. If you're a fan of specifically romantic comedies, they use a lot of the tropes in this movie pretty well, and they're actually done and executed very well and blended very nicely, like Jay said, into the horror slasher aspect of the film. As far as the experience, it was a great film to watch. I loved it. It was fucking great. I think it was one of the more memorable slashers that I've seen recently. I'd compare it to some. I'd say it was probably a little better than the previous sort of holiday slasher we saw, which was like Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Like, Thanksgiving was fun, but I'd put that as like maybe a B-rated slasher. This one's definitely like up there at A. I wouldn't say an A+. Like, it's not gonna be a new icon like Michael Myers or anything like that. I think Terrifier is definitely the most recognizable slasher, but this one's definitely one of those where you can argue it's probably gonna be like maybe the next slasher if it gets another solid sequel or more.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying with that.
Yeah. As far as like all the acting, everything, the actors did phenomenal. I believe it was I have to look it up.
Olivia Holt.
Who, if you don't know, was Mia in Fast and Furious.
No. So Olivia Holt is pretty much a former Disney star. She was in Kickin', she was in Kickin' It. She was also recently in a series for Marvel called Cloak and Dagger. And I've seen her on and off in terms of acting. This is, I think, something that could bring her back, especially if she wants to get into like maybe the horror side, because I think she did a good job, or even a rom-com side, because I think she pulled off both. She pulled off being a pretty interesting potential scream queen, and she also pulled off like being a believable, like, almost, I don't know what the trope name is for the girl character in rom-coms or even Hallmark films. Usually the males are the heartthrob and stuff like that, but her character as like the leading lady definitely was pretty solid. And again, it's a slasher, so you're not going there expecting like Oscar-winning performances or anything grand. You just want them to be believable in the moments that they're supposed to be in. And I think her and her co-star, which we're going to get the name for right now, did both a really good job on just being believable. Especially their chemistry together was actually really solid. And at first, it did feel a little rushed with the male character, but they explain why, and I get it. And it's even a character flaw that he brings up. So I think it's understandable. So it's also, again, it's a slasher. You're not going in there expecting, the best written characters, and you're going there to expect just these characters that are put in these situations to get out of them. Yeah.
And then as far as her co-star, Mason Gooding, he played the love interest for the film, which was Jay Simmons. Yeah. And other than what I could say, he was a great, he was pretty much a great heartthrob for the movie.
Exactly, he was great. If you don't know what he's been in, he's most recognized in the recent 2 Scream films, Scream 5 and 6, as Chad. And honestly, he played a very different role in this one than he was in that one. In that one, he's more of like the kind of jock, kind of charming, charismatic, funny guy. And in here, he is charismatic, he is charming, but he's not a jock. He actually does feel more like, almost like your kind of typical chill, kind of calmer guy.
Yeah.
And I think that was also kind of a cool, fun role for him. And also, the one little note that I liked is the fact that his name was Jay. So it kind of took me out of the movie because my name's Jay, and I was like, oh my god, what's happened? But besides that, off that topic though, all of them did great.
Yeah.
There's even other actors in there. There's a pretty small cast, and I think everyone does a good job. There's 2 cop characters in there. I'm trying to remember the names of the actors.
One was the girl who played Mia in the Fast and Furious franchise.
Yes, Mia Toretto. We're trying to blank on her name. We should probably keep this up.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep this up right now.
Yeah.
Jordana Brewster.
Yeah, she did a good job as the cop, as the female cop, because, I mean, in most of these cop films and stuff like that and slashers, you don't really get to see a cop. She definitely felt like she was kind of going for like a Dewey mixed with Gail Weathers type character. And the male cop, which was played by Devon Sawa, which I'm not too familiar with, but he also did a pretty good job. And again, like Scream, there's going to be a lot of like similarities you're going to see, or even things that are like, oh, this sounds like a red herring, or this could be foreshadowing. And again, similar to what we did with their companion review, props matter in this film. Like, if you see something, kind of keep an eye on it. And is there anything else that we can talk about in terms of non-spoilery?
Use of prosthetics in the film was great.
The gore was solid. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think there was any part of the gore that felt like CG. Like, sometimes you can kind of see like fake blood, like maybe like blood splatter on the screen, but even then it felt like it made sense and was logical. Oh, we could actually probably talk about the killer itself, like themselves.
Oh yeah, killer design. For one, phenomenal killer design.
Pretty solid.
Yeah, anytime you see him in lighting, like, they did a great job with the detail of like leather on. Like, you could tell it looks like very handmade with all the stuff. Like, one of the weapons they uses is a throwing knife.
Yeah.
And even that, he has a heart carved into the handle of it. And even that looks like
even
rugged,
all
like it's all handmade.
Yeah, all that stuff. He has a crossbow that shoots like these arrow darts, like Cupid. A mini butcher knife that's like almost like it's a hunter knife, and he has like this machete that even looks like a hunter. Like, just a lot of different weapons, and the way he utilizes them is actually pretty. Like, this is a killer that I can say definitely has some skill in terms of how he kills. He's tactical, even down to like the mask itself was like pretty well used. We won't get into too much detail about that, but like everything that was with that character was used and utilized for a specific reason, and it makes sense, and it also just makes that character even more scary. It's like, oh shit, this person has this thing, this person has that, what the fuck, this is crazy. And I think that's why I also think this killer could definitely play a part in becoming like a new recognizable character, because I think they said the mask was supposed to be designed after the hard eyes emoji, but then also I know in one of the trailers they said he's like Cupid with a kink, and I feel like you could argue like, oh yeah, he's like Cupid with hard eyes, or he's like the emoji. Either way, the mask design is recognizable, it's unique and different, and it's definitely trying to make itself
stand out,
especially like how it looks leather. Like, at times it looks like leather, and at times it looks like skin.
Yeah.
And it really helps sell like the uncomfortability of it.
I would also say that the actual Jay pretty much touched on it, but the use of the armory that he has, it's like it feels like a very recognizable armory. Like, not just the throwing knives having the carved hearts, but like even his machete, which is like one of his primary weapons, has like a knuckle duster on it. So he also has pretty much just what are they called? The
grips.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what it's called.
Oh, the hilt.
Oh, brass knuckles. He essentially has brass knuckles on the end of it, which like I love because it gave it like a little distinction.
Also, it made like his punches look like they're gonna fucking do damage.
No, any of the fight scenes with him using it like as a blunt weapon, like that shit looked like it hurt. Like, you could tell like it had some impact with it.
Yeah, I'll say this, because in slasher films, everyone also wants to know, like, how are the kills? Were they pretty well done? I say the kills aren't elaborate, but there is, I will say, what's the word? Proper set use. Like, I think the settings is definitely what helps these kills, because these kills are not overly complex. They're not, like, over the top. They're pretty straightforward, simple kills, but, like, there's a lot of them. They're pretty quick and brutal. And again, it's the setting that really helps sells the kills. I think there's like one, maybe two creative kills in there. Like, one of the the earlier scenes is a pretty creative kill. We won't say specifically what it is or where. You'll know it because it's like, whoa, that's crazy. And I'm trying to remember, and I think one that's like towards the end, not the third act, but like towards the end, where it's pretty creative in terms of like what they do. But I think that kill's in the trailer, and you've probably seen it. But again, those were like the two most creative kills. The rest of them are straightforward, but they're also just, wow, like, oh shit, like this character is doing stuff that we're not used to seeing much in slashers. So if you're looking for like super elaborate kills, don't go in there expecting that, but go in there expecting to have some carnage candy and some nice fun like hacking and slashing. This is the best I can say.
Yeah, in regards to that too, I'd say go in there not expecting much of. It definitely has horror elements, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily like a big horror movie.
Oh, yeah.
There were only like maybe like 2 or 3, I'd say, like true actual good jump scares. But even then, it's nothing that I would say is like gonna make you, if you're a big horror fan or you love horror and you're expecting like to be scared shitless, don't go in there expecting it. It very much, it does feel like, I guess, like a fun slasher, almost like Scream.
Yeah, like you can argue this is more of a rom-com thriller, but I'll say this: I think it also leans heavy more into the rom-com than the killer, which is not a bad thing. I think it was actually well done and even well balanced. But if you're going there hoping for more slasher, you might be a little disappointed, especially if you don't realize that this is also a rom-com. I think it's rom-com first, slasher second, but the slasher is still very much like reminded to the audience, like, hey, this is happening right now. There's a killer out there. You know, all like it's constantly being reminded, which is good, because that way you know, like, oh, you want to enjoy this cute romantic moment with these characters, but then you also know, oh shit, though, someone's probably around the corner looking for them, or something bad's gonna happen. Like, there's a couple times where it was in the moment of something cute happening, and then I would turn to him like, something bad's about to happen, isn't it? Fuck, I can feel it. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, and I think that, again, also goes into why the movie's also pretty good, because if you can expect something, or if you're always worried, even in the good, quiet moments, that's when you're, anticipating the worst, and I think that's what the movie is doing best.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with the same points as you. Other than that, the acting phenomenal, use of prosthetics great. Cinematography-wise, doesn't do nothing crazy, but, like, all the shots are, like, really well done, and Jay actually brought up a good point. There are moments where it's filmed and it does almost feel like it's filmed almost like a romantic movie or even like a romantic comedy.
Yeah.
With some of the lighting, like it's very like more of higher tones,
Saturated.
very soft shadows, like all very romantic, and even some of the shots that look downright like, especially with when you first meet the love interest of the film.
And they have their meet cute moment that's popular in films.
If you like romantic comedy, you're going to see a lot of romantic comedy tropes. Like,
honestly, this is also a really good date movie.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's a fucking great date movie, I'd say.
Yeah.
Fucking solid choice for it if you're going to go for that. But yeah, fucking beautiful shots. Like I said, doesn't do nothing crazy, but the way they do film it almost both... at times very horror-like with the more darker shadows, and the way they film it almost like, Jay brought a good comparison, almost like a Hallmark movie, fucking did great to make you feel like, oh, this is a romantic comedy that's also just happens to be a slasher.
Yeah. And
it blends the two styles very well together, especially in regards to certain suspenseful moments, which we'll probably get into later, but it functions very well together.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything else you want to give that's not a spoiler before we move into our spoiler talk.
I guess the only nitpick I'll have is that...
Again, careful with spoilers, because we talk about more of that.
Yeah.
My only nitpick is more of the spoiler stuff, so I'll leave that for later.
We'll probably get into it right now, but the only nitpick I'll say is that if you're expecting some crazy... It's a little bit predictable with the ending of who is the killer. And I would argue maybe to some degree a little bit maybe messy in the choice of it, but overall it's pretty predictable who the killer can be. And if you're expecting some type of crazy twist as like Barbarian or some type of twist as like Jane Doe, it's not gonna be anything like that. It's definitely just more straightforward slasher in terms of overall like aesthetics for the movie.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna give you guys a couple seconds before we get into our spoiler territory. So yeah, we're gonna give you guys that couple seconds.
I'll do 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's alright.
Alright.
So going into the stuff that I'm mixed about, I'll be honest, I don't think there's any negatives that I'll probably give it at the moment, or at least on first viewing, but I am mixed about something. I'll say that it's in the entire third act, because there are multiple killers. There's 3 specifically, so they're trying to one up Scream. And again, that's why I say, like, if you know the format of Scream, you will probably guess a lot of this stuff, because again, they do market it as like from the producers of Scream, and I think that doesn't help, because if you know Scream, you're gonna go in there expecting a lot. And again, I think me and you were able to predict at least one of the killers pretty early on. I say maybe 25-30 minutes into the film.
Yeah, which to be fair is pretty impressive that we only managed to do one, but at the same time, it's like, I think it's because we went in there kind of expecting them to sort of do almost like a Catch-22, trying to really give us a loop for the money. But I think on a second viewing, or even if you just go in there knowing it's Scream, you're gonna probably be able to find it out pretty quickly. Yeah, like obviously the 3 killers. There is the biggest one, which is probably the biggest name, which is the female cop. Yeah. I'm trying to remember her specific name. Her name was Janine Shaw. Janine Shaw. Oh yeah, one great joke that I really like. There's a lot of movie title references in this film. One of them was that both of the cops, the guy and girl cop, their last names were Hobbs and Shaw, and they pointed that out, and it's hilarious. But Janine Shaw is one of the killers, and that was one of the ones I predicted, only because again, in horror films we know, especially in slashers, that if there's a cop character, usually that's your first suspect, or if you don't see that person get killed on screen, especially when they're about to be attacked by the killer, you know they're probably the killer. And she was the one that literally you just see the killer see her, she has her gun, nothing, cuts away, and we do see the male cop get killed, who was my first immediate thought. And then when I saw that she was alive, or at least we didn't see her get killed, immediate suspect. And then there was these other 2 killers. There was a guy who was the IT guy. I think his name was Jim? Jim, yeah. Yeah, Jim, the IT guy. And like he literally only appears once in the film, and not until the very end. And I think it's an okay twist with him. It's just very, like, unless you're really, really thinking outside the box, you can guess it. But at the same time, it only makes sense just because he's there as the IT guy. He's in this police station, and he happens to recognize Allie, who's the main girl. And he was like, oh, hey, you were on Bumble, right? She's like, no, I'm not on the dating app. She's like, oh, well, let me try to shoot my shot. And he's trying to be, like, quirky about it. And then he just kind of walks away after getting rejected. And I guess you can argue, like, oh, because he's familiar with her, but she wasn't on the apps, how else would he know her? But even then, it's like, you only see him the one time, and he's gone. Like, you kind of forget about him, realistically. So I think that twist didn't help. But also, they try to fake you out because the 2 love interests fight Hard Eyes at this, like, drive-in movie theater, which, again, probably my favorite scene in the entire movie, because this dude literally walks in public and starts gutting people, hunting these people down. It's literally during, like, a public drive-in. A public drive-in for a movie. That's also, funny enough, another romantic comedy in old school. I forgot the name of it, but... Yeah, and he just goes around doing actual... Like, hunting and killing. Yeah. And that's what I like to see, especially with, like, slashers, like, get ballsy with your killers. Kill them. But, like, that's the one thing I liked about Thanksgiving was that the dude killed a bunch of people at a parade. Like, that was pretty ballsy. Ghostface in Scream 6 walked into a bodega and started shooting people up and killing. Again, get ballsy if you're a killer and you're trying to get your victims. Go for it. Yeah. Like, balls. Well, I think this is probably, like, the most craziest killer by killing, like, I think 6 people in public. Yeah. And again, another thing I also like that's happening in more modern slashers is the main characters actually trying to fight back. Yes. Like, you can argue it's the stupidest thing to do, but what's more stupid? Running away, tripping over your feet, trying to get away from the killer, or actually standing up. Like, these 2 both actually fought against this dude at the thing, and I was loving it. And they handled their own pretty well. And again, they take off the mask after they essentially kill him, or at least blunt him until he knocks out. No, they do kill. They fucking Jay stabs him with the machete. And when they take off the mask, he at first thought it was the IT guy, but I knew his hair was different. So they're literally like, who the hell is this guy? So, and then it gets revealed in the 3rd act when you find out who the 2 killers are in this church, which actually was a pretty good final set. But I'll say the 3rd act is very much a Scream 3rd act. You have your big character reveals. You have where these actors that have acted normal
go full psycho and they try to kill the final girl and guy and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And even though the third act was fun, had some pretty good kills, it was kind of exposition-y, especially how they were explaining like, I was the killer this time, or I was a killer this time and stuff like that. And they explained who the third killer was and all that stuff. And it was cool, but it came off very much like, we didn't really need to know when you were the killer. Thank you for telling us if we weren't paying attention, but then I feel like you're not treating your audience with enough respect on paying attention. Because again, that's the fun part, is that after the movie, like, there was these killers. When were they the killer, you know?
What were the clues that they were showing me that I didn't see the first time?
Exactly. So, again, that's my main nitpick, is the fact that the reveal was, like how you said, kind of predictable. And then there's one that you can argue is predictable, but it's very, like, again, you forget about that character.
Yeah.
You shouldn't, if you're trying to really pull a twist, you need to make, like, I'll be honest, Scream has done it so much to where I feel like doing a twist reveal,
it's too common.
It's too common now. Like, at this point, just make
really
your killer either just the killer, the reveal doesn't even matter, or really, really, like, push the boundary of who this killer is. Yeah.
You gotta actually get the audience wondering to a big degree nowadays.
Or never even show them. Like, screw it. Like, fuck it.
Just make it literally a fucking psycho that has no connection to anyone. Like, that, honestly, that feels like it would be a big twist nowadays. Just a straight up a psycho killer that you're like, literally like what originally Jason was, the straight up psycho killer.
Yeah,
Michael,
Jason was just Jason.
Killer.
Freddy was just Freddy.
Yeah.
They are the characters, not the guy under the mask. Like, sure, it's scary, like, someone you might know, is trying to kill you, but at the same time, again, it's such a... It's been done so much to where you it's not even fun predicting it, because once you know who it is, you're pretty much like, I'm just kind of waiting till they fuck up or reveal themselves.
Yeah.
And again, this is all nitpick, because again, the movie's still a blast. I'm gonna buy this movie on DVD because this is a slasher I want to own. It's just that third act. In the third act, again, it's a very fun third act. You get to see some really nice gore candy that's really well done, and even some really cool kill sequences in there. But it's just in terms of a writing perspective and a slasher lover, I've seen this done before. I was able to predict at least one of the killers, which is still better than predicting all of them.
Yeah.
But still, it's like, once I kind of knew, I was waiting for shit to hit the fan at this point. And I guess that's more or less my whole negatives and nitpicks.
Yeah.
You have the floor.
As for me, it was pretty much just that whole reveal for the exposition dump. Like, for me, it felt like because they do this whole, like Jay said, they do this whole exposition dump at pretty much the final location set where all the reveals are happening, and then one of the killers is literally just some guy that they found extra, who the two primary killers, Janine Shaw and Jim the IT guy, who they found on just the same site that they met on, like a subreddit or something, and that they just said, hey, this guy just likes killing, so we just let him tag along. And he was getting sloppy at the end of it, which when they were doing that whole exposition, it felt like it was sort of just them being like, hey, there's not really no connection, and I feel like we need a connection to them in some way. Otherwise, there would be no point in them being together. And so they just said, you know what, let's just have them all meet on, like, fucking online. That's a great way to do it. But I'll be honest, it just feels so messy and so, like, almost last minute written in that I don't think it really worked that well for the reveal. And I'll be honest, if they had just kept it to be Jim the IT guy and Janine Shaw, I felt like that probably would have been enough. And just the third guy being there it felt like they were trying to make you do, like, it felt like they were trying to add another red herring at the end to try to make you think that, it's not Janine or the IT guy, if you still happen to have him in the back of your mind. And the only other, that was like the primary nitpick I had with the movie. The only other thing is that I know there's reasons for it, I get it, but I still hate the trope of the serial killer who walks slow. I fucking hate that trope so much. Like, there are some cool moments where it's almost like he's almost supernatural, because there's a moment where when you see it in the trailer, when Ali is in this little carnival round thing, and the Hard Eyes is literally stalking her. What happens in that scene is he pretty much is on a swing set, and she looks away again, and then looks back at the swing set, and he's gone. But I felt like with how aggressive the killer Hard Eyes is throughout that movie, I felt like him walking wasn't a good choice in terms of like an acting direction. Because the thing about Ghostface is, I think one of the best things about Ghostface is he is legitimately like willing to run after a fucking victim, even if like he's hurt. Like we've seen it time and time again of like in every Scream film, like he gets hurt somehow, but he still fucking is willing to like book it after his like victims. And I think that trope of just having them walk around, especially if they're like a very aggressive type of killer, just doesn't work that well in the movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, I get the direction for it, I get the reason for it.
And I know I've heard some arguments where it's like, oh, you know, maybe the killer can't run because it's hard to see in the mask. It's like, well, Ghostface's mask, if you look at it, is droopy. Half his eyes are probably being covered.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he's still willing to fucking Tom Cruise it. So.
Yeah. But to counter that, I will say I do fucking love how they actually do fight back, because it's not just one fight scene with the survivors. It's like, it's straight up like there's like a couple fight scenes where they're actually like beating his ass, and he's
beating his ass and actually working hard to survive.
Yes, and they're actually like tag teaming. Like they're not like fucking one at a time. Like they're straight up like there's a scene where one of the first times Hard Eyes actually catches the main girl, she straight up just grabs a fucking lamp and just bashes his head over with it. And they're actually smart in the movie. Like they like actually like will like tie stuff down so that way he can't get to them. And I will say I do like how they actually kind of make Hard Eyes almost a little, or the killer's a little bit more intelligent, because at one point they do try to essentially frame one of the characters as being Hard Eyes. And I think that worked pretty well, and it was like a great little like diversion for it, especially because I did think Jay was a possible suspect for Hard Eyes. But other than that, like it was, that was probably my main nitpick. I'm trying to think what else there really was. Oh, I feel like we didn't really talk about too much, but the comedy in here is great. Like,
yeah, no, again, as a rom-com, like
it's fucking great.
The romance sells, and the comedy, like, again, the one thing I'll say I like about the press screening was the fact that like everyone there is obviously huge movie lovers, and they're not afraid to show it. Like, I think I haven't heard an audience laugh so much in a movie. Like, we even saw One of Them Days, which we'll do a review for as well. And that one wasn't as packed, but there was a couple good laughs that we heard in the audience. Yeah. This one was like laughs almost everyone. Like when there was a solid joke, everyone laughed, and it was great. And there's even moments where it was like subtle comedy, and everyone was still laughing. Yeah. I think that at least went to show like the comedy is well written. Like again, rom-com first. Like the romance is pretty solid. There's slow moments where it's these characters actually being genuine about their romantic feelings and even just how they are. Yeah. And it's not like big, huge, grand moments. It's small, subtle moments, but it's done well and done genuine. And the comedy is still like very well woven into the script. And then you get back to the serious horror. Like, hey, don't forget, there's a fucking killer after us and shit like that.
I will say too, I actually like how I felt like this movie and a lot more horror movies are actually giving the serial killer a little bit more of like I guess you could say a lore to him, because one of the first things you see is like a whole bunch of news reports and like the actual tracking of the serial killer Hard Eyes, where he's been. And I fucking love how they actually use that detail later on in the movie, which I won't spoil that part, but they actually use that detail as a story beat for a second about like, oh, this killer was here at all these locations, you happen to be at this location too. That's a little suspect, and that was a great job to actually kind of get the audience going, oh, you know what, maybe it's this person, maybe this is the actual killer.
Yeah, and they even had like some characters wearing like masks, because you know how like in Scream like 2 and up, like Ghostface becomes like a marketable item for like a stab movie. Well, I like how that's also here. Like there was when Hard Eyes walks into like the area where all these people are seeing him at the drive-in theater, there's some people are like, whoa, this guy's creepy, and there's some people are like your costume, man. Like they actually can't tell if that's the real dude or that's just a dude fucking around. And it works, because some people were like scared and walked away. Some people were like, hey man, that's not cool, that's insensitive. And then there's people are like, hey, nice. And it just it does really help sell you on like, oh shit, this has been happening for a while. And I like that, because it's not like we're jumping, this is the killer's first time going around killing people. No, this killer's been doing this for a while and skilled and stuff. And That's really cool. And like how he said, it's a cool little lore that you get to it. I know there's 2 more segments I want to do, where it's our favorite kills, and then our predictions for potential sequels and where we think could go.
Ooh, okay.
So if there's anything else you want to add into your final thoughts before review it, and then those 2
Yeah,
segments.
trying to think if there's anything else that's really noticeable about it that people should know. Comedy lands, great use of gore. I will say I did like how, because of that press screen, some of the attacks and kills, people were actually getting a little bit vocal with it, because they some of them like I said, the practicals in here are fucking greatly done.
Yeah.
Whoever the I feel like I should look it up.
Artist,
whoever the makeup artist is for that movie was phenomenal.
Yeah, they did a great job.
And the coordinator for it did a great job on the makeup.
Yeah, I know. I agree. There was like I said before, there's a lot of moments where you're like, oh, the gore in here is solid, and also it doesn't feel CG or even hashed in. It actually does, and it's not afraid to show it too. It's gonna be pretty in your face about it, and it's not even over the top terrifying. It's nice and just, oh, this is plenty. I don't know if you're able to find it. We probably might not be able to find it, because since this is an early screening for it, and we're seeing this literally a week and a half before.
I did find it, but it's an AI thing from it, so I'm not sure how accurate this is, but definitely, I would say definitely double check it. But it's saying the makeup artist is Jandra Watson, background makeup artist V. Gulliver, and the FX makeup artist Laura Stables. So if those are the people, fucking great job. And shout out to Tony Gardner for the costume designer. Fucking great job on that costume.
Yeah. Oh, that was also another thing. It was directed by Josh.
Rudin? I want to say Josh Rudin or Josh Whedon.
Whedon. No, it's not Whedon. Josh Whedon directed Avengers. This is Josh Rudin, which he doesn't have too much directorial debut. He's done a lot of TV shows and stuff, that what I was looking up. But this is his, I guess, second big directorial debut. Look up director for Hard Eyes. He directed this, but it was written by 3 people. Philip Murphy, Christopher Landon, if you don't know who that is, that's the guy that did both Happy Death Days and Freaky and Paranormal Activity, the Mark one, which is my favorite one. And another person that also helped write it.
Michael Kennedy.
Those 3, you guys did a great job. You guys wrote it. I don't know how heavy-handed everyone had in the script, but either way, you guys did a phenomenal script. And again, shout out to the director, which is
Josh Rubin,
who, if this is your second or third, I know it's not your first directorial debut, it's your second or third. You did a fantastic job, man. I commend you for that. And
then some of his credits are Scare Me 2020.
That was his, I heard, directorial debut.
Werewolves Within.
Okay, yeah, so this is his 3rd film. So he has done, I haven't seen Scare Me. I feel like that one could be horror. Werewolves Within, I saw. That was also pretty good. So yeah, he's done, this is
not bad for a 3rd directorial.
I know, and I say, hey, this is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Comedy lands, romance lands, the horror landed. Again, not horror, more, think thriller. Again,
definitely.
Scream. It's not gonna make you shit your pants or make you freak out, but it's definitely gonna, if you get queasy with that stuff, if you get nervous with people hunting people and stuff like that, then it's gonna get you. But besides that, fun time slasher. Do you want to do your
favorite kills?
No, your ranking.
Oh, I would give it. Out of 5 bananas, I would give it maybe a 3.5.
3.5.
3.5 out of 5 bananas. It's definitely a solid, good slasher movie. Not too many issues with it, but there are just a couple nitpicks that are like Jay said. It's just that 3rd act that kind of falls off a little bit
in terms of just the reveal.
Acting choice for the killer being not as running, but again, that's just a slight nitpick from me. Comedy Lands, actually, I'd probably give it a 4 bananas then. Yeah. It's solid. I'd say definitely go watch it if you're a slasher fan. Fucking go watch it. You're definitely gonna love it. Great date night movie, and to a degree, I'd probably say a solid little horror film.
Yeah.
Definitely good.
I agree. I give it a 4 bananas. It's not perfect. Again, just that third act reveal is, again, the similar tropes can be predictable at times, and maybe could have just tweaked it a little bit better. But besides that, had a blast. Again, hard to balance romantic comedy with a horror, and they succeeded. So far, that and Companion both succeeded very well. Even though I would like Companion a bit more than this is still, I'm definitely going to want to own this as a physical copy. Definitely go watch this. We're going to watch it again with more friends because it's a fun time. And honestly, again, like you said, great date movie idea. So if you have someone that wants maybe a rom-com, but you're not into rom-coms, you'll like this. Or if you're someone that, you know someone who likes slashers and you're not really into slashers, you'll probably like this because it's not fully a slasher. It's so well balanced to where you can arguably have it anyway. So I'd say, 4 out of 5 stars. It's not perfect, but it's a fucking great time.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and get into the segment of our favorite kills. So what's do you have yours off the top of your head?
I'll do a top 3.
Okay.
I'd say for the third one, there's a kill that happens in one of the first kills, actually. The winery squish.
Yeah.
Solid kill. Really great, nice little sort of tempo for how the actual gore is going to look, because you're thinking there's going to be a cutaway, but they actually do show the full-on explosion of the head from the smash. And if you know how wineries use grape smashing, essentially that. Great kill, solid choice, and a pretty intense scene, actually.
Yeah.
For just a start. Second favorite, probably have to say, I would say the first killer's death. So the first Hard Eye's death. Just because I love how actually very well synced Allie and Jay worked to actually kill the killer, because it is like it's a pretty solid like tug of war between them, because you have Allie using Jay using a little tire wrench and fighting him. Meanwhile, Allie's trying to get him from pretty much the side, and it is a solid little fist fight match. And the death that I liked it most just because of the death for Hard Eyes, for that being like the first death of him. It's a solid, like, it's not nothing gory, it's not nothing crazy, but just the teamwork of it, and it's actually sort of like a nice little sort of moment between the both of them, like sort of coming together to sort of fight their own little like disaster that's happening. And then for the third kill, funny enough, it's either between would you count Janine Shaw's and the whole, like, and the last 2 kills of the Hard Eyes.
I mean, there's 2 separate. They're really 2 separate kills, so you can go into detail which one specifically.
I would say above second place being Jim the IT guy's death, just because of the use of practicals. Again, the use of practicals for that scene, fucking phenomenal, because he essentially has Jay on the ropes, about to kill him, but then as he's looking ahead to see how Janine's doing, Jay just wraps his hand around one of the little crossbow. He has like a little extendable crossbow bolt. Holds it right to his eye. Launches it, and you just see it go through his eye, across his face.
Leads to him. Side of the cheek nose area.
Yeah, so fucking great. You see him get up. He goes over, knocks over a whole bunch of candles. Didn't expect that. And you just see wax pour all onto his body. And then later on, you see him get up, try crawling towards them, melted skin, everything, and just ends with a single crossbow bolt to the forehead.
No, to the other eye. I think that's also. I think that's like another like meta humor, is the fact that since he was a Hard Eyes killer, he got Hard Eyes. Yeah,
fucking great. And then Janine Shaw's death, which is just pretty much starts with a gunshot to her abdomen. Nice little fight scene between her and Allie, and leads to Ellie doing a nice little jab to look like the karate with this little metal straw that she keeps with her.
Again, props matter in this film, and she kept talking about this straw,
environmentally friendly straw. Yeah,
and I kind of figured she kept mentioning it, and even
it's gotta be used.
Even when they're at the fucking driving theater, they're like, "We need a weapon." She's like, "I got this." It's like, the metal straw's not a weapon. I'm like, okay, that's the third time they showed it. It's gonna be used, and I was just waiting for it, and I was like, "Oh, it got used," and she stuck her like right in the upper chin area.
Yeah, But that wasn't the part that got me.
No.
It was the part where she essentially just fucking rams her right into the statue of I
Saint
believe
Valentine.
Saint Valentine, yeah, and right onto his sword, and you just see it go through her neck, and then as she's like barely on her tippy toes, so it's suspending her, and then as she's trying to like get it off or try to like breathe, you see it slowly spreading her neck apart, and then you see all like the tendons and just like, oh, fucking great solid like gore moment, and you just see finally the head decapitate from it, and that was like, so simple kill, or a very simple way to like do a death, but really like dragged on, which was really well done, and that's what made my top one.
Yeah. I guess I'll do like a quick top 3, and it's pretty much similar to yours. I would just say third one is the winery, just the smashing of that chick and just the build up to it, like how she is hiding in there. You know it's a stupid place to hide, but at the same time it makes you think, okay, wait, maybe it's actually working, and then nope, doesn't work, even though she technically closes herself in, but it's because the killer grabs her and she smashes the guy's hand. So you can argue that, you know, she did all she can, but at the same time she was done anyways and she got smashed. But also even the aftermath of that death was pretty crazy. Like they actually went inside and they would peel off pieces of her and stuff like that, or the detectives were, and even the hardest kill left like this little like trail mark where it's like a bunch of rose petals shaped in a heart, and then her actual heart in the center of it with candles, which I thought was like a cool little calling card and made him seem a little bit more twisted and demented. Second kill is going to be Jim the IT guy's kill, just because again the meta humor of him having hard eyes, and also the trope of like in every Scream film, you know, there's going to be that one character that comes back to life at the last second for a last scare, which happened exactly here, and then, you know, they killed him by shooting the other arrow in his eye. And it was fun. And also, again, the candle wax going onto him, even dripping on his face, actually kind of almost looking like the mask was forming it on his head, which was kind of cool. And then the number one kill, obviously, Janine?
Yeah, Janine.
Yeah, Janine's kill. Just that clean decapitation, and that was just badass. Also, again, the metal straw finally used, so it was like a full circle moment for that prop, because I was like, oh, finally, it's finally got used. And again, like he said, the gore was just, like, you can tell, like, they wanted a big finale. And I think for most slashers, if it's gonna have a reveal, expect this big grand finale for the killer. And again, that, you know, did not fail, and it was solid. And those are my favorite kills. And then what was the other segment?
I know you said you wanted one was kills.
Oh, feature predictions.
Oh,
So, more or less how the movie ends is, you know, we see the couple a year later, and now they kind of had, you know, their time to enjoy everything and enjoy the moment. And so they are going to watch a movie. And even the girl makes a comment, Allie says a comment where it's like, don't you think it's kind of weird, you know, being here after everything? And the guy's like, nah. So he proposes for her to move in, but she wants him. So she actually proposes to him, which is something different, new, and I was interested. And then they kiss, and then you think the movie's over. There's an after credit scene where she gets a phone call from the killer, but it's revealed to be her friend just fucking with her. And it kind of ends like that, where you can argue it actually might not get a sequel, which I wouldn't mind, because I kind of miss the days of just one-off films where we can just enjoy it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I guess my only prediction of the future is, or I guess the only approach I would do is we would do I would do a prequel, because again, in the Killers there's like 2 years of these killers going out and doing stuff, and even like how they met I would want to kind of figure out and learn how it happened. So I would want to see the sequel be a prequel about how the two killers met, and maybe even how they got into killing their first times and stuff like that. Like, sure, you can argue like, oh well, how are you going to get attached to the main heroes of the film? And I say, don't do main heroes. Do something different. Because you can still keep the trope of it being a rom-com and a killer movie, where you essentially are going to see these two fall in love, have this twisted romance, and kill people, and then kind of develop from there, which I think would be the only approach to go. Besides that, I don't really see anywhere else that it could go.
Yeah. No, that would be a fun one to see, especially seeing how... Because one of the things that they say is, like, everyone has, like, a kink, which they kind of bring up only, like, halfway through the movie, but they make it a point of, like, this couple's kink was killing people. So I think that would be an interesting thing to see. I see them do their first kill together, and that's like their big kink of the movie. As for what I think it could go, I'll be honest, I think it would be interesting to see it maybe be like an anthology killer. So essentially just do, because they do already establish it as being like a very well-known serial killer in their world. So I think it would be interesting maybe seeing just a whole bunch of hard-eye killers just possibly popping up all around the area and just being like pretty much like an antithesis to like love. Pretty much just having different stories, different scenarios. You can even have one that maybe goes, even though most of the hard-eye killers went after couples, do one that goes after a family. Like, that's like the purest amount of love. They go for a child. That's the biggest thing that can come out of love. The biggest like biggest like reveal of love is having a child.
Yeah.
So I think that would be interesting to see a whole family go at, or a family be pretty much just harassed by a hard eyes killer that goes, this is the worst. This is the most amount of love you can get as a human. So I want to take that away. So I think that would be interesting.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. Maybe it'll probably take the Scream approach, where it would essentially be you would probably want to guess the killer each time.
Yeah.
But I think, like you said, the way to make it different than Scream is you don't have the same set of characters you're following each time.
Yeah.
It's a new set of characters you have to bond with, and maybe even guess them, or who knows? Like we said, maybe there could even be a movie where we just don't know who the hard eyes killer is. Maybe it's just that's not the importance. The important is this set of characters, whether it's a family, like you said. You know, another form of a couple, or just any other type of form of love, and that person being hunted by this guy.
Yeah.
Hell, it could even be like maybe what's it called? Someone was like, it could even be like a rich family, and now the killer's like hunting them inside their own home. Or like, there's a lot of directions you could take it, and I do agree with your direction. You could probably take it like that. And overall, I agree.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much our review about the film, guys. Again, both of us agreed 4 out of 5 bananas, and definitely go watch this film, whether you like rom-coms or horror or even a great date night movie. Go watch it.
Yeah.
And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. If you guys want to watch more of our reviews, we will have them in our description, and you can like and subscribe and check out more of our reviews. Again, we're here to just keep it real. Yeah. All right, monkey business
See you next
out.
time.